I'm your host, Shell, and tonight we explore the story of an innocent gift, a doll, that brought terror to 3 generations of a family. This tale will make you think twice about the things you bring into your home. So dim the lights, settle in, and prepare yourself for the doll's demand. It all began in a small, quaint town where an elderly woman named Margaret lived. Margaret was a loving grandmother, always on the lookout for special gifts for her family. One chilly autumn afternoon, while browsing through an antique store, she came across a porcelain doll. The doll was beautiful, with glassy blue eyes, delicate curls, and a lace dress that looked as though it had been once pristine. Despite its age, the doll seemed to be in perfect condition, almost as if it had been waiting for her. Margaret felt an inexplainable connection to the doll, and without a second thought, she purchased it. She knew immediately that she wanted to give it to her daughter Emily, who had just had a baby girl, Lily. It was meant to be a keepsake, something Lily could cherish as she grew older. When Margaret presented the doll to Emily, she was delighted, and little Lily seemed fascinated by it as well. They placed the doll on a shelf in Lily's nursery, where it could watch over her as she slept. For the first few nights, everything seemed perfectly normal, but soon strange things began to happen. Emily started having vivid, disturbing dreams. In these dreams, the doll would come to life, whispering to her, calling her name, and asking to hold the baby. At first, Emily brushed it off as just a bad dream, but the dreams became more frequent and intense. She would wake up drenched in sweat, the feeling of the doll's cold porcelain hands lingering on her skin. One night, as Emily was rocking Lily to sleep, she heard a soft, melodic humming coming from the nursery. It was a lullaby she didn't recognise, and as she approached the room, she saw the doll sitting in the rocking chair, gently moving back and forth, as if cradling an invisible child. "What's happening? This can't be real." She quickly grabbed the doll, placing it back on the shelf, but from that night on, everything changed. Emily's behaviour became erratic. She became possessive, refusing to let anyone else hold Lily, not even Margaret. Her appearance began to change as well. Dark circles formed under her eyes, her skin grew pale, and she often mumbled to herself. Margaret grew concerned, sensing that something was terribly wrong. She decided to take the doll back, thinking it might be the cause of Emily's strange behaviour. But when she tried to remove the doll, Emily flew into a rage, her eyes wild and desperate. "You can't take her, she belongs with Lily." Margaret was shaken by her daughter's outburst, but she managed to take the doll back to her home. She hoped that without the doll's presence, Emily would return to normal, but things only got worse. Emily became obsessed, constantly talking about the doll and how it was meant to protect Lily. She began hearing the lullaby everywhere she went, when she was alone, when she tried to sleep, even when she was holding Lily. The doll's influence seemed to have seeped into her very soul. Desperate for help, Margaret reached out to the local priest, Father O'Malley, who had experience with the paranormal. When he entered the house, he immediately felt the dark energy surrounding the doll. He warned Margaret that the doll was not just simply an antique. It was a vessel for a malevolent spirit that desired to possess the child. The spirit seeks to live again, and it will stop at nothing to take the baby as its own. They decided to perform a cleansing ritual to banish the spirit and break its hold over Emily. The night of the ritual, the house was filled with tension. As Father O'Malley began to pray, the doll's eyes seemed to glisten, and a cold wind swept through the room. Emily, who had been calm at first, suddenly screamed and lunged for the doll, her voice distorted and unnatural. "You can't take her from me!" The energy in the room became oppressive, and it took everything Father O'Malley had to continue the ritual. The lights flickered and the walls seemed to close in, as if the house itself were trying to protect the spirit's claim. But after what felt like an eternity, the doll's eyes dulled, and it fell lifeless on the floor. The spirit had been banished, but the damage was done. Emily collapsed, exhausted and broken. Though the doll was removed from the house, Emily was never the same. The torment she endured left her mind shattered, and she was eventually committed to a secure psychiatric ward, her eyes vacant and her thoughts consumed by the spirit that had once possessed her. Lily grew up without ever knowing her mother, though Margaret often wondered if the spirit had truly been banished, or if a part of it still lingered within Emily, waiting for another chance to take what it had so desperately wanted. The doll was buried deep in the woods, far from any living soul, but some say on a certain nights when the moon is full and the wind is still, you can hear the faint sounds of the lullaby drifting through the trees. So, dear listeners, if you ever find an antique doll, think twice before bringing it into your home. Some gifts come with more than just a pretty face. They come with a dark history and a desire that can never be fulfilled. Thank you for joining me on this chilling tale. It's a stark reminder that some objects carry more than just memories. They carry spirits that refuse to let go. Until next time, dear listeners, stay safe and keep your lights on. Thanks for tuning in to tonight's chilling tale, but the hauntings don't have to end here. If you love ghost stories and crave even more spine-tingling content, why not unlock the other side? Join our exclusive membership for bonus episodes, behind-the-scenes extras and much more. The link is waiting for you in the description below. And do you have a story of your own? Something that keeps you up at night? Share your experience through the links in the description. You might just hear your own story being featured on upcoming episodes. And before you go, don't forget to like this video, share it with your fellow ghost story lovers, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a shadow in the dark. Stay spooky, and we'll see you on the other side.